going on out there, YouTube? This is SEL0320 representing JVS. I am back here again for a brand new in-depth review for the classic original trilogy, Episode 2, Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back. Oh my gosh, there's so many different things that I want to go into this, but I'm trying not to geek out on y'all, because believe it or not, this is one of the best science fiction epics ever. Even more so than the one that was its predecessor. For a lot of different reasons. I mean, the thing was, last night I started looking at Empire Strikes Back, and all that had happened, I think right where I stopped at was right when Luke left from the location where Yoda was. And then I look at the rest of it today, and I'm like, these are two separate... The amount of content, the amount of pure content that the character goes through, they could be two movies. If they wanted to, like the movies nowadays, what they have is two parts. They can sit there and take the first half of this, make it a movie, the second half of this, make it a part two, like they really could. And that is saying something, that they were able to formulate in such a way of making it a consolidated, an amazing epic that, to me, in a lot of different ways, from a set piece standpoint, which is going to be my segue going into the look, the feel, the visuals, and the sound, for this one, like I've never seen anything quite like it. I mean, when you see the final act, when you got Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, when they're battling, you know, I was like, where did they design this? This doesn't seem like they're just behind a green screen. It seems like they're legitimately like there. Like this looks like this was a huge scope that they actually sculpted. I mean, one of the things that people love about Peter Jackson is that his realization of going above and beyond to make the set pieces. And of course, George Lucas would be the pioneer of all that. So, I mean, as far as the visual scope, as far as the locations where they went, I mean, specifically when they went to see Yoda, when Luke went to see Yoda, and you saw the swampland, and you see where Yoda has exiled himself to, it seems so grimy and dark and dangerous. It made that little, when they were about to get squished in the first episode, episode 4, looked like a child's play when Luke got pushed under. Because, I mean, like his ship got stuck in there, like R2-D2 got stuck in there. I was like, how are they going to get out, basically? And it was like the whole formation of how they handled every single sequence, from the cinematography, from the set places, from the choreographing. Like, there was a sequence where Luke and Leia, they were going through Lando Calrissian's location, and they were kind of going and talking. All of a sudden, like, as soon as they opened up the door, the pan-out shot was perfect, because it was looking at Han and looking at Leia, and they look, and then sure enough, you see Darth Vader right there, and Han instinctively shoots first, again, and like, Darth Vader's like, pop, 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 and then he's like, whoop. I was like, that is perfect. Like, the way that they shot it is everything. Because if they did it at a different angle, if they did it like kind of like you see in both standpoints, it wouldn't be as impactful. And that's what I'm saying, that they choose the scenery perfectly, they choose the way the animations go, and they have direct actors. The first part of this, when they were actually in the area where there was a lot of snow, where did they shoot this? Because it looked like a legitimate blizzard. It didn't look like they had like a huge set and they were sitting there blowing snow at people. It literally, I kid you not, looked like they were in a blizzard. When Luke got beat down really bad with that sand creature, and he was kind of stuck upside down, I was like, you just don't see that anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like that's science fiction, if you understand what I'm trying to get at with this. Because I was like, how did he get stuck up there, first off? Like, did the sand creature have like something he spot out? It didn't matter, because it was impending danger that you really felt because of everything that was not all CG generated. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot. It was a whole lot, because even when I saw Luke and Yoda's training, and I started looking at the mannerisms of Yoda and the puppetry, animation, like Jim Henson, I don't know if he played a part in this or not, but he would be proud because Yoda is a defining character. That's alone just on the puppet animation, because like, yeah, they have to have the perfect kind of syncing with the actor, and the actor did a great job, hands off. But the way that this creature was moving and interacting and stuff like that, I was like, this feels like a real creature. Like, I mean, I'm sitting there, I think back to the prequels, and yeah, I loved having a CG animated version of Yoda. I loved how having him interact and fight and stuff like that. But it was like, even like when I think about the first episode 1, where there was like a puppetry kind of version of him, it didn't touch this version, because this one was the solidified version that defined him. So this is the thing. I give, of course, the visual effects a 10 out of 10, the editing a 10 out of 10, but even the sound, y'all. To me, on a lot of different sound cues, I thought were even better than the first episode. And I don't know if people will give me at that, but when I think about when Han Solo, and this is all spoilers, just FYI, you should know this by now. I'll even tell you how I got this shirt in a little bit. But when Han Solo was about to get frozen in carbonite and that song comes in at the right moment, you don't realize what the carbonite's gonna sound like. How did they create that sound? Okay? When he gets like swooshed in, or even when Luke almost gets caught in it and he pushes up, it's like the sound editing is amazing. I mean, yeah, I didn't even talk about this in the first episode. Who came up with the sound for the lightsaber? What it would actually sound like. When you actually see them clashing and dueling, it's amazing to actually hear. It's self-gratifying. Like, especially if you got your surround sound, like Dolby Digital. I mean, one of the things is THX is designed by Lucasfilm, so it sounds so good. Okay? Now, as far as the acting, I've said it before in episode 4, but the thing about it is, Mark Hamill is an amazing actor. Okay? It's a possibility we might get cut out. If it is, I'll keep going and riffing with it after this point. But the dude can act with his eyes. I mean, there was an innocence about him in the first one, but when you see what this man goes through from point A, getting hit with his sand creature, to being like, basically, in a sense, ployed into the situation, even though everybody's telling him he's not ready, to what he resolves in, like, it's just well acted. And of course, even that monumental sequence when he finds out that, you know, Darth Vader is his dad, that was even acted well. I mean, it comes a cliche over time, but when I'm sitting there watching and I'm looking at the weight of this, I was like, this dude got lied to, bro. He got straight up lied to. Like, he already wasn't ready, but his world just got crumbled. And for years I was sitting there thinking to myself, like, why is he sitting there, you know, trying to interact with this man after what happened, you know? He didn't change anything, but it was like he never even knew, you know? And so it was acted and performed well. But even James Earl Jones, when you see Darth Vader going in, going out, like, that takes effort. That's an amazing voice acting. As well as even Han and Leia. I mean, Leia, in my opinion, she did a lot better acting in this one because it showed her vulnerabilities when she's faced with the realization she might actually really have feelings for Han. Like, she keeps on perpetuating that she's, you know, for Luke, and I still can't get over. They kissed about 2 or 3 times in this episode on the lips. Gah. But every single time, like, Harrison Ford makes these amazing one-liners that catches her in her traps, but it takes true chemistry to work it out, because he could say that and then her look not be there, but the look was always there. It was always like these loving eyes, but trying to close in, you know, because she's not trying to, you know, at a certain point, when after Han gets tortured, it was all bets off, you know what I'm saying? Like, she was like, look, you gotta get put in carbonite. She's like, I love you. He's like, best line ever. I know. I was like, this is my time. I need to be learning from you. Nah, all honesty, everybody on the acting side, even Billy D. Williams as Lando Calrissian, new person into the fold, and he fit in really well. Boba Fett even had more lines in this one. But everybody, but the thing to me that stole the show as far as the acting was the puppet Yoda. I know it sounds crazy, but that's what stole the show from me, because yeah, they brought Ben Kenobi back, and yeah, they, you know, had Luke, but oh my gosh, what they did with Yoda was beautiful. Now, the story is concerned, like I said, it's a possibility that this might cut out, so just bear with me. The story was just so amazing. Like, as I said, this could have been 2 movies. from point A, when you got the Empire basically on the heels of the rebellion at this point, like they were in hiding. Like, I mean, it didn't feel like, the thing that I love about the story and the richness of it is, if I had never seen it before and I looked at this is the sequel from the, Star Wars A New Hope, I would believe that freaking Han Solo could have died in that moment. Like, when the other thing is that when Luke lost his hand, whether you know it or not, most movies, where you know that a main character is about to die is they get hurt or wounded in such a way that they wouldn't come back from it. And I know that would sound preposterous to most people, but it's really true. This is the first film that showed a person that was the main, protagonist, that gets his arm lopped off. That he gets, like, tortured by a sand creature. I mean, like, he even gets, like, his body shoved into, what was those things called? A Jawa? I forgot what they're called. Because Han saves him. I mean, it's a lot of different moments in this story where easily anybody could go. I mean, even freaking C-3PO got blown into bits. I mean, that could have been it for his character. I mean, I'm trying to think, if I picture myself in the movie theaters, would I really, believe he was dead? I think I really would. It's like now, like, the thing about us now, we're so monopolized as far as mainstream movies that there's never a point where we feel like the main character can really die. There's certain gritty movies that anything can happen, such as shows like even Game of Thrones, where, got characters just dying left and right, but you're expecting of it after about the first season. But as far as movies are concerned, you already came up with the conceptualization that this character is not going to die. There's some exceptions to the rules, but back then, like, if I would have saw this in the theater, I'd been like, oh my gosh, Han might have gonna die. Like, Leia is about to be captured by that, because one of the things that was an underlying tone about this is that, and we'll go into it more in the next chapter, but when Luke decided to go out of this zealous nature, because I loved how Yoda really tried to teach him from the ground up, based on experience, based on, like, his ultimate knowledge. But Yoda seemed very scary. Like, it was a lot of different things that he just was not laughing about. It was a real serious thing that he was trying to teach and articulate to this kid. Even, like, dare I say, like, it tried to push him not to be what he needed to be out of fear in a certain level. But I'm not going to go into that debate. But the thing was that after Luke left, him and Obi-Wan had a conversation. It's like, yeah, this boy is the last hope that we have. And Yoda was like, no, there is another. And, like, I was like, wait, what? And then after the point where, what happened? When Han Solo was about to get pushed into carbonite, right? And Chewie was about to intervene on his behalf. Like, Chewie was about to go ham. He, like, killed at least 2 stormtroopers, and he was about to go in, even with C-3PO on his back. I saw a stormtrooper about to hit Chewie. Now, I don't know if any of y'all noticed this or not, but I noticed it while I was looking at this. And Darth Vader stops him. And I'm thinking, why? Why did he do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, wasn't that he was worried about shooting Han? Like, why did he stop shooting Chewie? Because, I mean, what is a Wookiee? You know what I'm saying? Like, you could have just easily killed him. And I was worried for him at that time, even though I've seen the movie before. And the thing was, there was a look that Leia gives Darth Vader, because before that point, Chewie, Leia, C-3PO, and the droids were supposed to go with Lando, and they had to stay there, right? Then, after that point, after that happened, and Leia was looking at him, he instantly, at that point, decided, no, now they're going with me. And I was like, and that's the whole undertone that is like, did he know? You know what I'm saying? Not just that, like, at what point before did he know that Luke, I mean, yeah, it's obvious, Skywalker. I guess that's the reason why, but I don't know, that was one thing about the story that I didn't see or catch before. But from a platform standpoint, like, they did a great job of positioning in such a way that it was a metamorphosis of Luke Skywalker. It was a developmental stage for Leia and Han, even though every second their lives are in danger. You know what I'm saying? And it's really, it's reminiscent of Padme and Anakin, but this came first, so it was way more defined, way more well acted, and way more subtly executed. It wasn't like these people were trying to force themselves into one another. It's like they fit, you know what I'm saying? Even though he's a scoundrel, he's an amazing man. Like, he would do anything to be able to help, you know, even though he is part of the money. And then she's really, how do I put it? She can be very abrasive, very ununderstanding. I honestly think they could have ended up saving Han if she didn't let Chewie choke freaking Lando out. Lando trying to help them out, and it was like they could have got there if she would have been so emotional at the time. But yet she's got this fearless nature about her. She's got this uncanny ability of being in the right place at the right time to be able to do the right thing, and it's like they have that equal measure blonde, and so it makes sense for a story standpoint as well as the way they position them within this movie. But it was like, I thought it was just a progressionally good movie, because I think about it, if I had never seen Star Wars 1 and I looked at this one, this is a standalone on its own, even though it's got weight from the original one. It would make me want to go see the original one, but I could look at this and be like, wow, I'm entertained. Wow, this is a science fiction epic. Because, to have it on the snow, have it in the sand, have it on a spaceship, like a starship, having great actors, voice actors, and just the way they go and progress through the rest of the remainder of this one, it leaves you wanting more. Even though I think my feeling was for Han is that, like, man, they might never get him back. Even though I want it, it's like that, it's a level of uncertainty even at the end of it. Luke got his arm lopped off. But at the same time, like, his understanding that his dad, is the one that's, basically messed up everything in the flux of the Force. As well as he knows he has to go back and complete his training to, to defeat his dad and bring the whole situation to justice. It's just like, it's a kick in the nab for all the heroes, basically. And not a lot of movies do that. A lot of movies, like, they have the person, come out on top. They got kicked in the face. They lost Han. Luke lost an arm, his pride, his willingness to fight, in my opinion. Ships damaged. C-3PO is in pieces, essentially. Matter of fact, now I think about it, even R2-D2, he was in the water, he was in mud, he got shocked to death. There's a lot that everybody kind of like took in. I think one of the things that was foreshadowing is when Chewie was kind of like caged up when Han was getting tortured, and he was kind of like in the cage and he couldn't stop. There's nothing he could do, basically. That's the situation that they're in right now, and it's so reminiscent of what's going on with the story. And I don't want to keep rambling, but this is an amazing story. It's a great movie. 10 out of 10, of course, for me. I can't wait to finish this off with Return of the Jedi. This is JVS, SEL 0320. Keep it locked. We'll be back. Woo! Oh, yeah. By the way, I got this from the Force Awakens contest that I won! Yeah! Just do it.